Oil from the BP oil spill reached shore today, 2 weeks after the well explosion in the Gulf of Mexico. The oil washed up on Louisiana's Chandler Islands. Shoreline cleanup crews were there to see and assess the damage. Meanwhile, at the site of the massive leak, where hundreds of thousands of gallons of crude continue to gush into the Gulf every day, efforts to siphon, plug, and disperse the oil continue. A 4-story, 98-ton steel box arrived at the ruptured well earlier today. Engineers and welders worked day and night for a week on this structure that they hope will capture the oil and divert it to a ship above the surface. Even though the cap part arrived today, the hookup to that drill ship will not be completed until this weekend. If successful, so best case scenario here, the containment dome will be able to suck up about 85% of the oil that's coming out of the largest of the 2 remaining leaks. But there are huge 5,000-foot ifs here. These sorts of structures have never been used at depths even remotely like this, a mile underwater. How the structure will behave in such cold, dense water is anyone's guess. The dome was built by a company called Wild Well Control, a contractor that for 35 years has specialized in these kinds of oil spill disasters. Because crises happen so often in the oil and gas industry that they can sustain a whole disaster sub-industry for decades. Also, a second oil burn was successful yesterday. A small amount of the oil slick was rounded up with fireproof booms and set on fire by the Coast Guard. Then there's the proposed oil leak plug. It's an idea called a top kill. It's when a heavy liquid is pumped into the well to push back against the pressure of the oil coming up from below. But for now, crews are relying on the tried and true method of chemical dispersants. These are chemicals you've seen dusted over the oil slick. They basically break up the slick, turning a thin sheet of oil into tiny droplets that are more likely to sink and stay out of the ocean off the shore. BP has already sprayed 160,000 gallons of dispersant on the oil slick, not to mention the 6,000 gallons pumped down to the leak well beneath the surface of the ocean. That's more dispersant than has ever been used on any oil spill ever. The dispersants do work, sort of, but because oil spills don't have good news, only less terrible news, the chemicals in the dispersants are themselves toxic. Probably. We don't really know what's in them. The companies that manufacture dispersants consider that information to be proprietary. A company called Nalco makes one of the dispersants called Corexit 9500. Nalco posted a 10-page safety document about Corexit on the spill response website set up by the oil rig's owner, Deepwater Horizon, and warns you to not get the dispersant on your eyes, on your skin, or on your clothing, and also definitely don't breathe in the vapor. Touching it may cause irritation. 160,000 gallons of that into the Gulf of Mexico.